When I first discovered that I would be going to Peru, images started forming in my mind about my time there. I imagined living in a small town in the heart of the Andes Mountains, surrounded by a setting so serene and breathtaking that I would never want to return home. I was expecting to be living with rural villagers who lived a simple lifestyle and treated us with the utmost care and compassion. However, all of these dreams were shattered when I first stepped into Peru. I was welcomed into Lima by two Peruvian men who attacked and robbed me while I was inside of a taxi. Within an hour of setting foot in the country, I found myself penniless and without a passport, having to rely on the assistance of my organization to survive. After this incident, I was terrified to stay in the country and carry out my volunteer mission. However, with the support of Austin College and my organization representatives, I was convinced of the safety of the rest of my trip. Within 1 week, interacting with the people of Huancayo and my fellow volunteers dispelled my fears and left me completely comfortable with my setting. For the month of July, I volunteered with the organization FIMRC. I left for Peru expecting to return with stories of sensational medical cases I helped treat or to boast about the clinical techniques I learned from treating patients at a medical clinic. Instead, I brought back with me something more valuable: accounts of the lives that people lived and how drastically different it was from the lives of average Americans. I was able to understand the health needs of the community, which is the first step in truly making an impact in society. As a medical volunteer, I shadowed doctors in both private and government hospitals, occasionally aiding in the maternity ward or observing surgeries. This is when I first realized the lack in resources of the hospitals and the ignorance of normal citizens about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. By witnessing all the surgeries due to parasitic infections, I understood the importance of our health awareness campaigns that taught the villagers about parasitic diseases and dental hygiene. During my first health awareness campaign, we drove 30 minutes into the surrounding mountains to educate the mothers in a rural community about parasites. I was shocked at how ignorant the mothers were about infectious diseases and how they didn't understand why they needed to go to the doctor if they were infected, rather than letting the disease run its course. I was even more surprised to be pulled into the circle of dancers after the campaign to celebrate the installment of their public water system. The villagers were eager to welcome us into their own community and show us their appreciation for our education workshops. Children, too, welcomed us with open arms. In the afternoons, we often worked with children in El Rosario, the Center for Sexually Harassed and Abused Children. The first day upon seeing us, 3 girls immediately came running to us asking for help with their English homework. It was unbelievable to see how young some of these children were. The amount of trust they had in us, who were complete strangers to them at the time, was incredible. When they began opening up to us is when I realized how much they were craving friends to interact and play with them. They were ecstatic when they found out that I knew Indian dance and were soon begging me to dance for them and teach them the steps too. The amount of happiness they got from such small interactions, like dance lessons or taking pictures with them, overwhelmed me and made me understand how much these children were actually lacking. I came here prepared to teach these children and serve as their role model. What I was not expecting was to learn from them more about myself. For most of my life, I was so goal-driven that I was not cognizant of the world around me. These experiences made me realize that this life I am living is larger than myself. For me, understanding the interwoven nature of humanity and contributing your part by serving those in need to the best of your abilities defines you as an individual. Had I not stayed the remainder of the month and taken the next flight home as I had contemplated on doing in the beginning of my trip, I would not have these incredible experiences that now serve as inspiration for me to continue serving globally. I also would have made a grave mistake leaving with me a forever-stained memory of Peru and its citizens. In my eyes, Peruvians would have remained as merciless people who had no sympathy for innocent travelers, rather than seeing them for the compassionate and welcoming people they truly are.